I want to talk to you about something very briefly but very serious, and that is the fiscal year 2011 budget that we in the legislature, and I see Senator Halligan here, thank you for your great leadership at the Capitol on behalf of education. But I want you to know that I am fighting for you at the Capitol. I'm fighting for education, and I believe for the children of this state and the very future of our state. It is that important, the work that we are engaged in at the state capitol this year. And it's been widely reported in the newspapers that there is talk of 10% cuts to education. That's over and above the cut that you received in the revised 2010 budget. Now, the fiscal year 2011 budget begins on July 1st of this year, and actually the proposal that is currently on the table in the legislature and in our budget discussions is more on the order of 12%. That's what you're potentially looking at. And, you know, I have worked hard and fought hard to get legislators to understand what Senator Halligan and I understand, that we're not simply talking about an academic exercise. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet where we have to make cuts to fill a gap. People are impacted. Lives are impacted. Students are impacted. The future of our state is literally at stake. It is that important. And, you know, I believe that if we make cuts anywhere close to what is being talked about, that it will irreparably damage our education service infrastructure. And we may never recover. It's so critically important. You know, there's an attitude at the state capitol that we must cut government, that government's too big, that we have to have a more limited government. All those are good things to say during a campaign year, but what we have to understand is there are dramatic ramifications to that rhetoric. But it is the prevailing attitude at the legislature, the belief that we have to cut and create a smaller government. Well, what does that mean to education? Education is 58% of our state budget. So that means the brunt of those cuts fall on education, on our teachers, on the classroom, on our students across this state. And I believe that it's time that we all collectively in education, and everyone else who believes the importance of education, who believes like we do that so many people will not have the opportunity to live the American dream without a good education. And I believe it's time that we all collectively stand up and say, we can't cut education. Kim, you're right. You're absolutely right. Sandy, thank you for the tremendous fight on this front that you have led and continue to lead. But it is so critically important. And if every single teacher in this state would take just a very small step, if each teacher in this state would place one phone call and write one email to your House member and your senator at the local level, and then if you want to do a little bit more, make one phone call and write one email to the legislative leaders, the pro tem, the speaker, and others involved in crafting the budget. Just one email and one phone call to your local legislators will, in fact, make the difference. I truly believe that. And so I am imploring you to go back to your districts and convey that message to all of the teaching corps in your school building and in your school district. We need you to take just a little bit of time to make that one phone call, write that one email to your local legislators. It will make a difference. Now, likely at the end of the day, education will receive, if I have my way, no more than a 3% cut. I mean, if I had my way, it would be no cut. I doubt that, given our budget issues, we can do that. But we have laid on the table for the legislature to consider various revenue enhancements that don't include tax increases, but various revenue enhancements and efficiency measures that can more than make up for the gap that we face. We've laid about $900 million worth of revenue enhancements on the table for the legislature to consider. And if we just adopt a portion of those, these are things like refinancing bond issues to take advantage of lower interest rates, hundreds of millions of dollars potentially. Things like efficiency measures in enforcing the tax laws that are currently on the books. Fairly easy things to do, and some harder things. But I need your help. And again, as I said, I'm sorry to dampen this celebration, because this is a celebration of teaching and a celebration of education, but I think that is the very point of my message. We need to continue this celebration beyond today and do a little bit of work, each one of us, to make sure that education is spared the brunt of the budget acts. Now,